Hi, welcome back. In this video, we're going to start working with our words. So in the last video, we have our loop going and we have our greeting function. So the next function we want to do is get a word from the user and make a copy. So I'm going to go up here and get that function. The function is called get word. So we're going to start the implementation of this function. So what does this function do? This function is going to get a word from the user, ask and get a word from the user. So I'm going to make things easier on me and copy and paste. So this function has two words. These character arrays will get declared when the function is called. So I'm going to say, please enter a word. And then I'm going to, again, with %s with the space here, I'm going to scan into the word. Now, because we have a string, we are including string.h, it's very simple to use strcpy to make a copy of that word. So we get the word from the user, and then we make a copy of it. So we take our plural, which is the one that's going to have, that's the destination, and we take our source and we make a copy. So this is a very simple, straightforward way to get a word and make a copy of it. And in a minute, I will show you how to make a copy by using a loop. But let's do this first. So let's test this function. So I want to call this function. So we want to, because we're going to continue to do pluralized words over and over again, we want to call the function inside the loop, right? Would you like to do the word? Yes, I would. So we're going to call this function inside. So this function takes two character arrays. Now the character arrays exist inside the function, but my main function does not have these character arrays. So this actually goes here. This goes here. All right, so I need to declare two character arrays. I can call them what I want. In this case, I'm going to call them original word, and plural word. Now I can just call them word and plural, and that's perfectly fine, but since this is a class and I'm trying to teach you things, what I'm doing is, and I'm making them around size 25, there's not going to be any words, especially in this exercise, that will be larger than size 25. So I'm going to call this original word and plural word in the main, and then in my function, get word, it's called word and plural. That's just to distinguish between the local names of the functions and the local names of the variables and the names of the variables inside the function. Inside the main function before you call it. So the local names here are word and plural, and the local names in the main function are original word and plural word. So this function has two formal parameters, so I'm going to pass the original word and the plural word. And then, right now, I'm going to print both words in the main function. So how do I print the words onto the screen from the main function? I'm going to print the name. So we already know how to print the name. Again, this is an exercise, and you can change how you want to work on this, and how you want your output to look like on the screen. But I want to print the name, so I'm going to print the name. Now, if you notice, name is only name inside of that function. So if I do get a red squiggly line, but if I didn't notice it and I go to build, it will not compile because it's telling me that it doesn't know what name is, because name is the name that I used inside of the greeting function. That's what's meant by a local variable. Name here is called first name. So I'm just practicing using the, I'm just practicing getting the character arrays, printing them back onto the screen, etc. So now I want to print the words here in the main function. So I want to print both words. So I will print, okay, I'm going to put original word and put a %s here, comma, plural word, %s. And so I need to add, I have 2 %s's here. So I want to put this for my original word and this for my plural word. So let's trace through the code and plan what's going to happen before we test. So we start here. We have 3 character arrays and 1 single character. We have our first name, we have our original word, and we have our plural word. So we're going to get to the greeting function, and this character array right here is empty. It doesn't have anything in it, and here we're going to print it out, so it needs to be filled with data. So we pass the first name to our greeting function. It's going to jump into our greeting function, and this character array called name is going to then have the same location in memory of first name. So this is going to have an input-output parameter. We're going to ask the user, remember to put the space here. The user is going to give us the name. Then we're going to welcome the user, and then whatever name is put here will then be also the first name. Then we're going to interact with the user. Using %s, which first name will now be filled in so we can see it onto the screen. Then we're going to ask them, would they like to pluralize a word? They enter Y or N. Whatever they enter is going to go to get assigned to this variable through scanf. Remember to put the space here. If the user enters a Y, so I'm going to get rid of this so it's not confusing, that's in another video. That means yes, they want to. Then we're going to get a word from the user. So we're going to leave our main function, go into the get word function. We have 2 character arrays here, original word and plural word, in that order. The first argument is original word, the second argument is plural word. We're going to go into our get word function. So word is going to then be in the same location as original word. Plural is going to be the same as plural word. We're going to ask the user to enter a word. They're going to enter that word. Notice the space here again. And then we're going to make a copy of that word. So when we come back here, what's going to happen is when we print both words onto the screen, here, the original word and the plural word should both be the same thing. So let's test it and make sure it happens, and then I'll show you the other way to make a copy. So what it should do is have me enter my name before the loop, so it keeps the same name. Yes, enter a word, happy. They should be the same. Yes, yes, enter a word, nonsense word. We don't have a dictionary, they're the same. No, I'm done. So I'm satisfied that that's working. So what I want to show you right now is in the event that I want to not use this string copy, I'm going to show you how to copy one string to another by using a loop. So we need to get 2 integers here, int I and length. So the user is going to enter the word. So the first thing you're going to do after the user enters the word is you're going to say length equals string length and pass it the word. So once you do that, the string length function, so we are going to use the string length function. We're just not going to use the string copy function. We're just going to practice with the array. So if the user entered the word happy, H-A-P-P-Y, null character, then length should be 6. If you want to test that that's working, which is what I always like to do, length is %d length. So let's test that this is working with a couple of words. So we're going to get the word. We're probably going to have an issue here because when we try, and actually that's a good idea that I did this, because we're going to have an issue here when we try to print plural word, because plural word doesn't have anything in it. It's an empty array. So let's see what happens. Okay, yes, so my word is happy, so it should be HAPPY 5. The length is 5. Now if you notice here, it printed my original word happy, but when it tried to print the original word, it couldn't print the original word because, let's just try one more word. Yesterday. So that has 9 letters in it, and that is correct. All right, so it doesn't, the plural word here, and this didn't get caught by your compiler, so that's a good idea that I can show you what that looks like. We changed it, and we're not making a copy anymore here. So actually plural and plural word don't have anything in it. So when it goes to print it onto the screen, it's printing nonsense. So please keep that in mind, that you need to make sure that you that your arrays have data in them before you try to print them onto the screen. But we got the length. The length is working. So now we're just going to write a quick loop to copy. So we're going to use a for loop for I equals 0, I less than the length. So keep in mind, if the word is happy, the length is 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 would be the Y. Index 4 would be the Y. And 5 would be the location of the null character. The location of the null character is very important because that's how you can, I keep forgetting to hit shift. So the location of the null character is very important because that's how %s and any of the string member functions know how to work. So when you're calling the string length function, it's not actually counting the characters, it's returning the location of the null character. Since it starts at 0, it's going to be the same number of letters that are in the word. So now we're going to copy into plural, character by character. And I'm kind of curious to see what happens. So we're going to take our word that we got from the user and we're going to copy character by character. So now, but we did not add the null character. So I'm curious to see if it's going to, it's probably going to print the word and then a bunch of those weird symbols. Let's see what happens. Yes, I'm going to enter happy. Right, so the word is happy, and in our plural word, we copied the HAPPY over, but when %s goes to print onto the screen, it doesn't know when to stop. And the way that it knows when to stop is by adding the null character. So it's very simple here to add the null character. We just go to plural at location length. Remember, HAPPY would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 would be after the Y, and we assign the null character. All right, so let's test it again. Perfect. There's my nonsense word. Nonsense word. The length is, I'm not printing the length anymore. Okay, so I'm satisfied that that's working. I'm able to make a copy. You certainly, for this assignment, you do not need to do that whole loop. You can remove the entire loop here. And if you use this string copy function right here, this string copy function will take the original word, that's the source, and copy it into the destination and add the null character for you. So if If you don't want to go through and do all of that, you certainly don't have to. For this assignment, you can just do string copy. All right, so that's working. So the next thing we need to do is we need to make our plural word all uppercase letters. So let's implement our uppercase word function. So here's how we're going to implement our uppercase function. All right, so in order to make our word all uppercase, there's no special function that says make it all upper. We have to go character by character and practice making it uppercase one character at a time. But the nice thing is we can use the string length function, so we can, I'm always big on copy and pasting, so I don't need that, and I don't need that. Now our plural word, by the time we call this function, will already have a word in it with the null character, so we can use the string length function to get the location of the null character, and then we basically just use the same loop that we were using here. So we're going to start at the beginning of our plural word, but instead of, we don't need to add that. The null character is already there. So we're going to start at the beginning of our word, but instead of assigning one word to another, we're going to use the to upper function. So we're going to So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start at index 0. So when this function gets called, say the word is happy, H-A-P-P-Y, lowercase. So we get the length of the word, so we know how many characters we need to do. Remember, H-A-P-P-Y, the length is 5, but the letters are at H-A-P-P-Y, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first letter, plural at index I, would be H. So if it's a lowercase h, it's going to get passed to the to upper function, get changed to an uppercase H. Then it's going to change to 1. Then this is going to be plural at index 1, which would be the letter A. If it's uppercase, it doesn't matter, but if it's not uppercase, it will get changed to uppercase. So it will go through the word character by character and change each character to the other case. So now, in order to use this function, we need to call it. So it's right here. This is the uppercase word function, and we're going to pass our plural word. So we're going to pass our plural word to this function. And since we're already printing onto the screen, we don't have to do anything else because we will be able to test what's happening by entering a bunch of words. My name, okay, yes, I want to enter a word. Happy. Now my original word is happy, yes. So let's put in a yesterday, and it made it all uppercase. So now our next step is just going to be to determine which rule to apply and to apply that rule. And we will do that in the next video. I will start the next video by reviewing this code, and then we will be doing the rules, and we'll be done with this assignment.